Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to our April the 3rd, April of the month, April 17th, for our Wednesday night lives. Let me just share this into my group, and then we are going to go all live with all of our topic tonight. I'll just share this over into my business group, the Biz Junkie. Here we go. Hey, Astrid, how are you? Thanks for joining me. You know, oh, I got to go to my business page every night. Every night. Here we go, Safia. There we go. How are you doing tonight, Astrid? I'm always so thankful to you because you always watch my lives, and I'm so grateful to you because I know the time difference is crazy where you are, but you're either working really hard or you work like me. Nights are really good for you. So here we go. We're almost there. Okay, we're all shared and we're ready to go. Okay, so if you're joining me, say hi. Let me know where you're from. Tonight, we are here to talk about one of the topics that's actually very near and dear to me because I've set my alarm to wake up. Oh, that's so sweet. Are you setting your alarm to wake up for this? Or are you working this early in the morning? But anyway, thank you for being here. So tonight's topic, I want to talk about building a profitable business on a small or a limited budget. Hi, Stephen. Thank you for joining me. Building a profitable business on a small or a limited budget. And like I said, this is a topic that is near and dear to me because when I started my business 5 years ago, I did not have a big budget. In fact, I started my business on just $500, you guys. $500. I started my business. I had 2 babies. I was living in a small apartment in New York City, and I knew that I wanted to start a business. I knew that this is what I was meant to do. This is what I wanted to do. But like many people, when you're starting out in business, there's investments that you need to make. But because I was starting on a small budget, I had to learn really quickly how to make the right investments. And so that's the thing that I want to talk about tonight. And I want to teach you and talk to you guys about how to create a profitable business, how to make decisions in your business that's going to lead to profits, even if you are on a limited budget. So if you are joining me or if you're watching the replay, and if this is the first time you're watching one of my lives, you're not familiar with who I am. My name is Safia. I'm a business coach and marketing strategist, and I work with new and rising coaches and service-based entrepreneurs, and I teach them how to make more money, generate more revenue, more results in their business by using online strategies. So like I said, when I started my business, it was about 5 years ago, and I was working on a very small budget, right? So the thing is, if you are a service-based entrepreneur, this live stream is for you. But if you are starting a business that involves a product or a retail store or something along those lines, then this content may not necessarily relate to you. And I'm totally cool if you want to hop off. If you want to stay, that's fine too. But the content we're going to talk about today is really going to speak directly to coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs who are in the service-based space where you're a personal brand and your expertise, the gifts that you provide, that's the business, that's your service that you're offering. So if you're watching me or you're watching the replay, put in the comments for me if you started your business, if you started with a large budget or if you started with a small budget. If you feel comfortable, you can also share that number, but I wouldn't push that if you're not comfortable with that. But if you started out with, a big budget, a lot of capital coming into your business, or if you started out on a smaller scale, share that with me in the comments, and let me know where you kind of were when you were starting, or if you're now starting out, where you are now. Like, do you have a lot of capital to start up with? Do you have a lot of funds? Do you have a lot of things that you're throwing into your business as you're starting up? Or are you starting on a smaller, limited scale? And if so, either way is fine. But, I just wanted to kind of gauge where you guys are in your business or where you started your business. So the thing is, I get the you've got to make money, you've got to spend money to make money thing, right? I totally get that. That's something that's been ingrained within us. We hear it all the time. You've got to spend money to make money. And I totally get that. But it's really about spending smartly, right? So it's about making the right investments or the best investments for your business. So Astrid says you're starting at a small scale. Yeah. And the thing is, Stephen says small, they're still starting up, so to speak. Okay. And that's actually more common than not. Right? I think most people are starting with on a smaller scale. There's not as many people who are coming in and starting out a business with a lot to invest in a startup phase, right? And I mean, that's relative. It really depends on what you would consider a lot. But a lot of people, when they are coming in, especially in the coaching space, especially in the service-based entrepreneur space, they're starting on a smaller budget. So again, I get that, it takes money to make money, right? But again, it's about making the best investments for your business. And so I want to make a distinction for you guys around what does it look like to make the right investments versus the best investment. Because a lot of times I think when you are trying to start or you're trying to grow your business, there's so many things that you think you may invest in, right? There's so many things to be investing in. You want to know, like, it's in, you could be investing in here, you could be investing in that. So it's sometimes hard to gauge what the right investment is for your business, right? Because if you haven't fully defined what works for you yet, if you haven't fully defined what the best investments would be in your business yet, it's hard for you to kind of see that filter. So again, when you're starting out, tell me if that's making sense, or I'm saying this right. So when you're starting out in your business, or you're trying to grow your business, sometimes it's hard to kind of differentiate what's the best investment versus what's the right investment, or what's the right versus the best investment, right? So again, if you haven't fully defined what works for you yet, it's easy for you to not be able to filter what's best versus what's right. And so that could look like you might think what's right is for you to invest in this, mastermind program, or you think what might be right for you is to invest in this website, or invest in your branding, or invest in whatever else that you might be thinking it is right for you, because you haven't fully defined what works for your business yet. It's hard for you to really know what's right? And so you're probably basing that decision off of what you're seeing other people doing, or what other investments you think other people are making in their business. And you're thinking, oh, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do that, or maybe I should do that. Tell me if that's making sense. Tell me if you're picking up what I'm putting down, right? So typically it's hard when you are starting out or you're trying to grow to know what's a right investment. So what I like to do is base my decision based on what I believe is the best investment for my business, right? So I make decisions when it comes to investing in my business based on what I think is best for my business. Does that make sense? Tell me in the comments if that makes sense, between the difference between the right investments versus making best investments for your business. And I think I might have butchered that, but if you need me to explain that again, just let me know. So again, when I started out on a small budget. I wasn't working at a corporate job, and then I had my business as my side hustle. So I had that income coming in to supplement it. My husband is working in public accounting at the time. We had 2 small babies. We were living in this tiny apartment in New York City with rats. But you can't avoid that when you're living in New York. And every dime was important because we were saving to buy a house. We were saving for, our future, for our children. So I didn't have a lot of wiggle room in my budget when I was starting out in my business. So I had to learn really quickly how to adapt to that, how to make decisions for my business based on a smaller or more limited budget. So how I made my choices around my investments was asking myself 3 very important questions based on what was best for my business. And I'm going to share those questions with you right now because it's still the thing that I use up to today, even though now my business has tripled and quadrupled, even though now 5 years later, I'm so beyond that, thankfully. And even though now I can invest freely in my business, I still use these 3 questions that I'm going to share with you guys when it comes to making every single investment in my business, because I believe when we make the right investments, that's how we create profit and make profitable decisions in our business, right? So those questions are, the first question that I always ask myself is, what does my business need right now? So what is it that my business needs right now? And is the thing that I want to invest in, does it align with that, right? Because again, going back to what I was saying before about right versus best investments, again, it's easy for us to think, oh, I need that website, or I need to invest in that thing, or I need to invest in like the fancy branding, or the you know, whatever it is that's out there that's being thrown at us, right? But is that what my business needs? So when I'm very clear on what my business needs, the decision on investing becomes easy for me, right? Because it's like, does my business need sales right now? And is this investment going to contribute to that, right? Does my business need more brand awareness and visibility? And is this investment going to contribute to that? So the thing is, it's a little bit about prioritizing as well, because sometimes it can feel like we need all the things, right? Sometimes it can feel like, oh, well, I need the sales, and I also need the visibility, and I also need the support. So where do I invest? So it's really where this next question comes in for me. That is this investment going to get me closer to my 90-day goal? So the first question I always ask myself is, what does my business need right now, right? And the second question is this investment going to get me closer to my 90-day goals? So now for me personally, I plan everything out and I set my goals based on 30, 60, and 90 days, right? And if the thing that I want to invest in aligns with where I want to be in 90 days and my 90-day goals, then that investment gets a check mark for me, right? So does this thing that I want to invest in my business align with my 90-day goals? Is it going to get me to my 90-day goals? Does it directly contribute to me reaching and achieving the results that I want to be in my business in 90 days? Does that make sense? Tell me if that's making sense, you guys. So then the third question I always ask myself is, will this investment lead to a compound effect? Will it lead to a long-lasting residual effect and results for me in my business? Versus, is it going to be kind of like a Band-Aid solution? Is it going to be like a one-time quick fix type of a thing? And listen, sometimes we need that, right? And if there's wiggle room in your budget, then sure, you can invest. But when you're working on a smaller budget or a limited budget, it's so important to make decisions. In fact, everything in business should be made, your decisions should all be made from the lens of and thinking of the long game, right? So will this investment produce a compound effect for me? So what's a compound effect? A compound effect is like that snowball effect, right? You invest your time, your energy, or your money in something now, and it continues to produce for you, right? So those are the 3 questions that I always think about when it comes to making my investments in my business. And I gotta tell you, when you come from the mindset of, what does my business need right now? Is this investment going to get me closer to my 90-day goals? And will this investment lead to a long-term compound effect result for me? Is it leverageable in the long term? Then I know that investment I'm going to see my return on my investment, not just money, but time and energy as well. Because sometimes that's equally, if not more important, right? So when you have this mindset and you think about your investments that you're making in your business in terms of these buckets, especially if you're on a smaller income or a limited income or on a small budget or a limited budget, This is how you will create profit in your business, because when you're making investments that are aligned with that, you will see a return on your investment, right? And that's how you eliminate those distractions. That's how you eliminate making or wasting money on things that do not lead to the direct results of your business. That's how you reduce those shiny objects and those distractions that might be thrown at you where you're thinking, oh, that might be the right thing, or that might be the right thing. But no, you've got to kind of go back. For me personally, again, go back and look at it through the lens of those three questions. And you will always see your return on your investment if you make decisions and you make investments from that space. And so it's about really discerning on the investments that you're making, like being very super discerning on how you're investing, where you're investing, and what you're investing on. So if this is making sense so far, you guys, drop a comment. Let me pop over to my group. Let me see if I got any comments in here. If this is making sense, okay, good. It's making sense. It's making sense. Good. Perfect. So glad this is making sense for you. So if you can like kind of connect what I'm trying to say here, right? Like how do you create profits in your business? How do you build a business on a small budget or a limited budget? It's really about first starting by making those smart investments. So for making the investments that are best for your business. So for me, like when I think about when my first year or two in business, the biggest investment that I made, like I had to get really clear. I had to really discern, right? And I had to know what I could say yes to and what I should say no to. What was contributing to my profits and what was just going to be a distraction. And I think sometimes there's always going to be like that expensive lesson. And I think everybody at some point in their business learns that expensive lesson, right? Guilty, I've learned the expensive lesson as well. But it's also brought me so much closer to now knowing with absolute certainty what are the investments that's going to lead me to profits in my business and how I build my business, profitable business this way. Let me just hop over. Sophia, the video and the sound is pretty choppy. I can hear you, but it's tough. Is anybody else? The video quality, it's breaking constantly? Really? You know, Facebook was giving some issues lately. If you guys can hear me, let me know if you can hear me or not, because I can never tell with this. I'm carrying on and then the thing just shuts down sometimes. If you can hear me, tell me if you can hear me in the comments. Tell me if it's still choppy, if the connection is choppy, because it seems fine on my end, but you never know. Facebook has been kind of kicking me off and kicking others off that I know from their lives. So the connection is breaking up constantly. Yikes, that's not good. All right. Listen, we're just going to do the best we can, and hopefully the connection strengthens itself. Let me see what's going on. Let me pop over here. Yeah, no, it seems to be fine here. All right, I shut down some of my browsers. Let's see if that helps. In and out, yes. Okay, I closed down the other browsers my other Facebook browsers. Maybe that helps. Let me know if that helps going forward. Okay, so what was I saying? If it's still choppy, let me know. I can hear, but the picture is breaking in and out. I don't know. My internet is connected. I'm sorry. I apologize, you guys. But I'll keep going. Thank you, Astrid. I'll keep going. All right. So when, like I said, my first year or two in business, I had to get I had to be really discerning about the things that I was spending money on, because as business owners, we got to spend money, right? There's things that we're going to need to invest in. There's going to be, you can't avoid it. You do have to make investments, but again, it's really choosing what's best for my business. So the biggest investment I made in my business the first year was hiring a business coach. Like right out of the bat, hiring a business coach. And I've continued to hire coaches. I've continued to work with coaches up to today because I believe in the power of getting support. I believe in hiring your weaknesses, right? And so that was probably the biggest investment I made in my business in my first year and a half. The next things that I invested in was like my infrastructure and like the software. So my payment processors, my CRMs, my systems that would help me onboard clients smoothly, my systems that would help me run my business smoothly, my systems that would help me like my planners and all the things that I needed to operate and run my business on a day-to-day smoothly. Invested in like the legal aspects of my business. So like, my contracts and all the legal things, protecting my business on the legal end. Those were some of the big non-negotiable best investments for me. When I started out, I did not invest in an expensive website. I did not invest in like fancy branding or anything like that. In fact, one of the biggest things, when people come to me when they're first starting out, they get so caught up around the fancy website and having the branding and just doing all the things and making sure everything is perfect. And let me tell you something, guys, chances are it's gonna change anyway. Like more often than not, your branding changes, like your messaging changes a little bit, the things you want to do, your passions change a little bit, your strengths change on what you really want to be doing in your business. So I always recommend against investing really expensive websites and branding and things like that in the very beginning. Now, I'm sorry for all the web designers out there that might be listening to this, but in the beginning stages of your business, I do not feel like it is worth spending $5,000 on a website, on branding, and doing all that stuff, because it changes. And is it something that's going to lead to your results, right? Now, am I saying not to have an online presence? Absolutely not. You need an online presence. You absolutely need to have some sort of a digital footprint. I 1000% believe that. But you don't need to spend an exorbitant amount of money on that, because that's not, unless you are driving traffic to your website and your messaging is completely clear and you've got a solid offer and you've got a way to attract clients on there, chances are people are probably not going to it, especially if you're starting out, right? So that might not necessarily be the best investment for your business right now, but that's for you to decide. That's for you to gauge. But it's something that I do feel a lot of people get hung up around, and I think that should you have an online presence? Should you have a digital footprint? 100%. But is it the thing that you're going to see a return on your investment if you spend really large on that scale, right? So I did not do that. So again, it is about being discerning. For me, I am going to share with you some of the things that I did to help me see profits in my business and build my business on my small budget. And I think that it's something that can be easily translated, and you can apply those things as well. But for me, some of the things that I did, and again, it's really about when I sat down and I checked in on what was best for my business. So you have to do that for you. Like you have to sit down, you have to check in. What are my 30, 60, and 90-day goals? What is the thing that I want to invest in? Is it going to get me to that? And then make your decision based on the best decision for your business at that point, right? So how do you do this? How do you create this business, a profitable business on a low budget? So make decisions from that point, investments from that point, because you're going to see your return on your investment. Second thing is barter. Now this is this is nothing revolutionary, right? But barter your services. See if there is someone else out there who is interested in your services, and can you exchange, right? Can you perhaps get your website built in exchange for coaching or whatever it is, the service that you provide? Steven says an FB business page. So 100%, I think you should absolutely have a Facebook business page, and it's free, so it costs you nothing, right? So you should definitely have a Facebook business page. This is one of the most common things as well that people seem to get kind of caught up with. But I have a personal profile. Should I have a Facebook business page as well? 100%. If someone's going to hire you, chances chances are they're going to do a little bit of research. Unless they know you, unless you're coming from a really trusted source, they're going to do a little bit of research. So it's always good to have some sort of social media, again, a digital footprint. If you don't have a website, a Facebook page or a LinkedIn page is a great place to send people to while you build your website, while you find the right web designer, while you work on that, right? Having a Facebook page or a LinkedIn page or an Instagram page, depending on your niche, depending on your audience, is a great way to have some sort of a digital footprint, something to direct people to. So yes, Stephen, yes, I think you should have that. Okay, so yeah, the next thing was bartering your services, right? See, where can you exchange? Where can you create an even energy exchange with someone in return for their services to help you perhaps, again, build the website, do the graphics, write the copy, whatever the things are that you might need to get your business going or to grow your business, right? I know quite a few people who are well connected, and sometimes they barter for Facebook ad services or SEO services and things like that. It really just depends on what your needs are. Leverage social media and free platforms to promote and market your business. So you guys, now, like, it's so flippin' easy to market your business online. It is so ridiculously easy that there's like not an excuse for you to not get visible, right? You literally need to hop on any one of the free social media platforms and create a page, create a profile, and start marketing your business. It's so easy to not make money now. It's so, sorry, I said that wrong. It is so easy to make money now and to market your business, right? So just hop on one of the social media platforms and start getting visible. It doesn't have to cost you anything to get visible, especially if you're really, really clear on who you're serving, how you're helping them, what your offers are, and you're really clear and congruent with that. It's going to be very easy for you to attract the kind of people that you want to attract when you've got all those things in check. But that's a live stream for another day. The next thing I would recommend is just be open to learning, right? Just be open to learning, learn. Now, this is different than learning in the sense that, oh, I need to learn that next tactic or that next strategy or that next thing from that free webinar or from that free whatever, because that's a different sort of, like, how do I want to say this? That's a different sort of learning. And that kind of learning can get you in that cycle of feeling like you always have to know and you always need to be constantly learning before you actually put yourself out there. But that's a different kind of learning. The learning that I'm talking about right now is being open to actually rolling up your sleeves and figuring out systems, figuring out how to create those graphics, figuring out how to write really good copy, figuring out, how to run the back end of certain things, creating landing pages, whatever the case may be. If you have a tight budget, if you are working on a smaller or limited budget, learning how to do some of these things yourself is going to be a great advantage to you, because you're going to be able to gauge what's worth outsourcing and what's not. And here's what I mean by that. So for me personally, it was really important for me that I learned how to do certain things before I outsourced it, because it allowed me to test what my strengths were. It allowed me to really kind of see what my time was worth. So for instance, I know that I can whip up copy really quickly. Hey, Donnell, thanks for joining me. I know that I can whip up copy pretty quickly. I know that I can create kick-ass graphics. I know that I can do certain things for the marketing piece of my business really quickly, that I don't necessarily need to outsource that because it's not going to take much time. But I also know the other things that I just don't want to be caught up doing. And so those are the things that I would outsource. So if you are on a limited or a really small budget, be open to learning. I get the tech can be frustrating. I get that there's a curve and there's a frustration to having to figure certain things out, but I guarantee you do it a couple of times, it always gets easier, right? And again, if for the topic of tonight, it's being able to make profits in your business on a limited or a small budget, you've got to be open to doing that, right? You've got to be able to open to getting your hands dirty and figuring those things out, and then discerning and deciding, all right, this is something that's worth my time, that I feel like I can dedicate, an hour to whatever, doing this thing myself, or is it something that it's worth me investing and outsourcing that or getting support around that, right? So that's one of the other things. One of the other things, I think I forgot what number I'm at, but one of the other things that I had to do in the beginning, and it might apply to you too, is leverage your network, right? So who do you know that can, either support you or, help you with some of the pieces that you might need to build your business, right? Who do you know that you can access? How can you leverage your network and the connections that you've made? So for me, I have a really good friend who makes amazing movies. He's a independent filmmaker. And so he made my first videos for me. And that was awesome. Like high quality videos, high quality content for me, just because of the relationship that we have. Now, again, if you don't have that sort of network, and if you don't know those, if you don't have those sort of networks, you don't know people who can do certain things for you, that's fine. It might just mean that you might have to do things on a lesser scale for now. It might just mean that you might have to learn how to do certain things. But again, you've got to be open to that, right? You've got to be open to that, because waiting around for things to be perfect, and waiting around to have all your ducks in a row, you're never going to get yourself out there. And you've got to get yourself out there in order for you to start making profits in your business, right? And then you can also look at, again, like hiring a freelancer, or, there's a ton of affordable websites out there, which I'm not going to name right now, but there is a ton of resources and websites and things like that out there where you can hire a freelancer that's fairly affordable. You can also look at getting an intern. Like interns are a great option. And there's, again, some great resources out there where you can bring an intern into your business, and without having to actually shell out money, that intern will work for you in exchange for college credit or whatever the case may be. So interns are a great alternative to VAs and hired help if you can't afford that. So I hope those tips were helpful for you guys. I hope you're able to kind of connect the dots. I'm just gonna like quickly recap what I talked about. I hope again that you're able to see that building a profitable business, even if it's on a small or limited budget, is entirely possible. I mean, it's not always going to be like that, but when you're starting out, or if you're trying to grow and you don't have that big of a budget, you've got to be open to doing these things, because your business is not going to grow if you're not willing to grow, right? Your business is not going to see any profits if you're not willing to put in the work and do what you need to do to get it to that next level, right? So again, making the distinction between the right investments and the best investments. Real quick, rehashing that real quick for you. Right investments, sometimes it's difficult to really discern what's the right investment for your business, because again, if you haven't actually created those results in your business and you don't know what actually works for your business right off the bat, it's easy to think that that might be right, or this might be right, or that might be right, right? Instead, I would encourage you to think about, how do I make the best investments for my business, right? The best investments based on the questions: what do I need in my business right now? Is this investment going to get me closer to my 30, 60, and 90-day goals? And is this investment going to lead to a compound long-term effect in my business? Or is it just a Band-Aid? Is it just something that's going to tide me over and then I'm going to need to reinvest again, right? Always be thinking long-term when it comes to business and your business growth. And then a couple of quick things that I recommended is just be really discerning, like I just said. Barter where you can. Leverage social media platforms and other free resources or low-cost resources. Learn. Be open to learning. Be open to actually rolling up your sleeves and doing the work. Leveraging your network. Hiring a freelancer or looking into an intern. And you guys, all of that said and done, at the end of the day, you got to ask for the sale, right? You got to ask for the sale, and you've got to be able to sell your products and put your products, or your services, I should say, out into the world if you want to build a profitable business. Even if you got a big budget or a little budget, if you're not confidently and consistently asking for the sale, then you know, what's the point of being in business? So I hope that was helpful. Do you guys have any questions before I hop off? If so, leave them in the comments and I will answer them for you real quick before I jump off tonight. Let's see. Let me just pop over here. Did my visual and my audio get any better? Did it, or was it still choppy towards the end? If not, I'm going to have to wait to download the video to see what happened. But for those of you who are here and for those of you who joined me, thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was helpful. I hope you see that it is possible to make money on a limited budget or a small budget. I hope that you know that making the right investments will always lead to profits, because you're making investments based on a place of alignment and based on a place of what's best for your business. And I hope this content and this video was helpful to you. And again, if you are watching the replay and you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I will go back and I will answer them all. Have a great night. I will see you all next week. Bye.